Hi Capricorn, welcome to your fortnightly forecast for the next 2 weeks with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. I just want to say a quick thank you so much for all of your support over the course of this year. I will repeat that again later. Your keys to the next 4 weeks, to the next 2 weeks from now until the end of the year. Can you believe it? This is it, right? Are the Moon card and the Strength card. And this is a really interesting pairing. One, because the Strength card can represent your body. And two, because the Moon card can represent your past. And so there is an element of this where I think for a lot of you, especially because we're coming into birthday season, I hope you have a wonderful solar return if you are celebrating over the course of this fortnight. Remember to fill that day of your birthday with a little bit of everything that you want this whole entire year ahead to have in it for you. Imprint the universal energies. Now, that being said, this could be as well, for some of you, this might be a fortnight where you are, even in the midst of the holiday season, you're really delving into working past some old hurt or old wound, some old stagnant energy around your feelings. This is, for a lot of you, this could be where you're facing something, where you find that internal courage to find and face a problem, a challenge, or an issue that you know is affecting you at an emotional level. When you work on things in that way, what tends to happen is life tends to get better for us, and it also tends to speed up. So this literally could be a fortnight where, even though you're in the holiday season, there could be a lot of emotional processing going on for you at this time. I will say, on a physical health level as well, for those of you that have had, like, let's say you have a recurring flare up or a bout of something that's been like a chronic issue for you. Maybe it's been skin rashes and stuff. Interestingly enough, you've got Pluto moving through your sun sign, ascendant sign, or moon sign, whichever it is. Pluto tends to bring those kinds of things, like it will create rashes and all manner of things like that on the body, because Pluto is to shed skin, right? It's to, for it to flake off and stuff like that. So if you've had skin problems and or issues, that's probably Pluto in the background doing his thing. Remember, he's going to dip out of your sign next year, not fully, but then will finally leave your sign for good in 2024. So it's not long for that. But if you have had a recurring issue, if you have a flare up of that over the course of this fortnight, I'm not a doctor, I can't give you medical advice, but what I can tell you is that energy, that physical symptom that might show up for you over the course of the next fortnight may literally be coming from an emotional challenge, issue, or wound from your past. And the second you address that, I guarantee you will see some kind of shift or change in the condition on the physical level itself. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So something just occurred to me there while I was blessing the cards, and it was that for those of you, this might not necessarily show up physically, it might show up financially. And if that is the case, again, check in with your emotional state. So your card for your actions and options is the Two of Swords. My dear Capricorns, you're going to try to go up against someone this week or this fortnight. Tempers and energies and emotions tend to run very high around the holiday season. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of people. There's a lot of everything, right? And so this fortnight, you may feel that rising up, and the Two of Swords can sometimes show up as an opposition, right? And so what I kind of feel from this is, over the course of this fortnight, you may have a moment where you kind of get a bee in your bonnet and you want to go for something or someone. And because you've got this Two of Swords here, I would leave it alone, all right? I just would, it's really not. And remember as well, at the end of this month, so between the 29th and the 31st, I can't remember the actual date, Mercury's going to go retrograde in your sign, right? So there's a chance for some sort of miscommunication here. There's a chance for crossed wires, right? Or crossed swords, as the Rider-Waite-Smith deck shows. And because you've got these two cards here, you could be so emotional about something from your past, and it could take just one word, one thing, one phrase, one something for somebody to trigger you, and it just gets blown completely out of proportion. don't do it, all right? Now, when it comes to your communications and conversations, you've got the Page of Swords. So a lot of air energy here, so definitely up in your mind. And now I am going to say, if whatever this information is that is said to you is shared to you by a third party, oh, so-and-so said this about you, or so-and-so said that, and da-da-da-da, do not rise to it. The Page of Swords can sometimes, aside from all of its other meanings, sometimes it literally represents where someone's talking shit. All right. And because this is in your communication sector, you may misconstrue what somebody says, or they may be relaying information to you that is incorrect. So you just need to be mindful. In terms of everything else, when it comes to work, profession, career, your academics, this looks like a time where you're really thinking about your future. You're very focused on what comes next. Where do I go from here? What are the possibilities that are available to me? Not only like at this moment in time, but from the new year. So for a lot of you, you could be putting your heart and soul into getting some new enterprise off the ground. For others, it looks like you're gathering or looking at paperwork, documentation. Maybe even some of you are looking at legislation around what it is that you're trying to do, or what it is that you're trying to put out into the world. So I'm really excited about this for you. I think it's great. Then you've got this with the Moon card, and it's funny because the Page of Swords in this deck is literally about, it can be about initiation. You've got this with the Moon, and then in the Page of Swords you've got the Moon and the Owl underneath it. This could be where some piece of information or some piece of wisdom makes itself available to you. What you do with it is going to be completely on you. So I will say this next fortnight there's going to be a lot of information going back and forth, and it might be hard, it might be easy to get lost in the source. So take it down. Take it slowly, right? You know how to work through things methodically, and I would do a lot of that over the course of this fortnight. For your those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, I like this for maybe you deciding that you're taking your studies in a new direction. I like this for a lot of you kind of saying, okay, you know what? Yes, this is what my degree is, and this is what I'm studying. This is what my certificate or my qualification is going to be in. But actually, what I always wanted to do was this. Remember, it's the Moon card, and because you've got it with the Strength, this is you having the strength or the courage to initiate a path towards something that you've always wanted to do, that is more aligned and more connected to who you actually are. For those of you that are employed by somebody else, I like this because there could be conversations that come up this week that really have your boss or your superiors very much aware that if they don't start either treating you better or kind of offering more opportunity, you're going to start to look elsewhere, right? And I really like this because that's you kind of saying, I'm going to do a good job right up until the moment that I leave. But if things don't change or improve for me, I will be looking to leave. Do you know what I mean? It's like that Capricornian, I'm going to tell you when stuff is needing to be done, but at the same time, I'm going to stick here and I'm going to do what I do best. When it comes to those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, a Mercury retrograde is actually a great time to research, to look into things, to uncover information, to research, to renegotiate, to reinitiate. It's a great time to do all of those. It's not a good time to launch something brand new. Remember, Mars is currently retrograde as well in the sign of Gemini. So there's that to contend with as well. So there's a lot going on for you at this moment in time. And I think if you're going to initiate something new with your business or launch a new product or service or whatever, wait until, I would say, around the 22nd, 23rd of January. All right. At that point, Mercury and Mars will both be direct, and all of the planets will be direct at that point, which means you have the oomph, the get up and go, and you have the planetary backing behind you to get these things on the go. For those of you that are retired and no longer working, you could quite frankly literally be sifting through other people's crap this month, this fortnight. So just something to be aware of. For your love and relations, you've got the Ace of Cups. This is beautiful. So for those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, the relationship stuff, that is where your sanctuary, your support is, right? Whether this is family members, whether it's your significant other, like that is where the good energy is coming from, and it's also where the protection and the buffer against some of the external crap is coming in. So that could actually be really nice. I will say, because you've got this two of Swords here, it's almost like and I'm sorry to say this, but there's a part of me that feels like you want to argue with someone and you're not getting that. And it's like the more they kind of ignore you on that or just not get involved, the more you're going to try to dig at it. You got that Ace of Cups in your love and relations. This suggests that your people, your partner, your significant other is trying to give you love. Stop trying to give them the opposite. All right. For those of you that are single, the Ace of Cups can always bring new love, and you've got this with the Page of Swords. So quite frankly, you could be meeting somebody that is able to go toe to toe with you verbally or mentally or both. So this could be somebody who kind of gives you a little bit of a run for your own money. I'm not going to say that it lasts forever, but I am going to say that there is definitely potential there. All right, for your money and materials, you've got the Six of Wands. This is a beautiful card for money. You've got this with the Page of Swords right above it. And you've got this with the Ace of Cups. So this could be good news. Maybe the partner's getting a bonus this week for, you know, for the holidays, for the Christmas. It could also be that your personal finances, maybe you start to look at your sums and you're like, wow, you know what? I spent so much money for Christmas and and then you check your bank account and you're like, huh. Okay, I've actually got more money here than I realized. Like, things are good for you over the course of this fortnight. And like I said, if you are having any financial problems or issues, fix your emotional stuff first. And I guarantee you will see a shift in your resources. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, this is your back, your heart and your spine. And I will say, because the Six of Wands is Leo ruled, and you've got the Strength card here as well. So definitely look after your back. Really important. Okay. And then finally, when it comes to your home and environment, I think this fortnight things actually calm down for you, but there's somewhere here, and maybe that's the thing, right? It's like, I don't know if when I was younger, I worked at a bar. And so, you know, you'd finish at like 2, 3 a.m. By the time you come home and you get in, you're still kind of wired from the night, right? And so it takes you a good 45 minutes to relax and kind of come down into yourself, and then you can go to sleep. But I could never just come home and go straight to sleep. This kind of feels like you've had so much intensity, you've had so many moments of zzz, and it's like, now that everything's calm, there's a part of you that is trying to rock the boat because you're not used to the calm and quiet. You know, find a way to transmute that, okay? With that said, from my heart to yours, I wish you so many blessings. Thank you so much for all of your support over the course of 2022 and beyond, for those of you that have been with me longer. The Winter Solstice Alignment Seat, you can get that on the link in the description box below. Whether you celebrate Yule, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Christmas or Eid, whatever you do or don't celebrate, from my heart to yours, I truly hope you have a wonderful end of year celebration time. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the new year.